All right, we are live right now. What up, everybody? Welcome back, HMO Podcast. And Joe and CeeLo in the building. Four-time guest, man. Four-time uh, recurring guest on HMO Podcast. One of our first guests that we ever had.
All right,
we are live right now. Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we can hear
I
you.
heard an echo. Okay.
Yeah, I heard that echo too. We just fixed that up, man. Joe, how you doing today, bro?
I'm doing fantastic. How about yourself?
Yeah, chilling, man. Chilling. We are back. We're back with our live streaming content, man. We were going a long time doing these watch parties for the NBA playoffs, so it's definitely a nice, refreshing day to have another live stream HMO podcast. Obviously, joined by my partner Brooks, as always. How you doing, Brooks?
And I'm chilling, man. Had some good stuff going on today after a interesting day yesterday. So we just
That's dope.
glad to be back on the good mental side.
Yes, sir. Long time no see, Brooks. Been like what, 24 hours?
Just about 24 hours.
My man. Yeah, man. We're gonna wait. Let a couple people get in here. Jerry Gonzalez, what up? I guess that's one
of my students. Yeah. That's my dog.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the stream.
Up,
we're gonna give it just about a minute or two, and then we're gonna get into all of our topics today. Just a quick little rundown. We're gonna be talking about, as you can see in the title, societal norms. That goes for the gender norms. That goes for even we're gonna break down a little bit of astrology and zodiac signs. Get your guys' opinion on all that stuff. Hot topic, man. I'm talking about. We might even get into a little bit of the cancel culture and what you guys think about that stuff, and if it's justified. We're gonna get into all that. We're gonna just give it another minute here.
I'm going on the stereotypical topics for the podcast for today.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this is like a lot of stuff we tend to talk about.
I was gonna ask. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. I was gonna ask, is your studio still set up at the spot?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. It looks different from the last time you were there, but it's like basically half of the room got split up for Brendoza to do her art stuff.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's not necessarily like as big as it was as far as fitting people in there, but it's spiffy in there.
Right.
Yeah, man, that studio's gone through like 15 different changes.
Oh, I witnessed it too, man.
It's crazy, right?
Every time Joe came back there, it was different.
It was something different.
You're Mr. Encilo on Twitter too. All right, we're putting the tweet up right now, and then we're gonna get started. Are you Mr. Encilo on Twitter?
No. I'm just Encilo 1992.
Encilo 1992.
Okay. I was just trying to look that up right now too. I was like, I thought it was.
Yeah.
What was that, or is it something else?
Yeah.
Joe. You want some water? Here you go.
Boom.
What up, chat? Hope y'all having a great Friday night so far. We about to get started in just a minute.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's rolling loud right now.
Yeah, man. Yo, stay safe, people out there in Miami. The cops are watching every move.
Ooh, there's a cop in every little corner.
I'm not surprised at all.
Oh my
People
God.
are gonna be going nuts.
Because man, I mean, if you think about it, last year we missed Rolling Loud. So everybody's losing their minds right now.
So there was no Rolling Loud at all last year?
None whatsoever.
Damn, but they did it in the other cities though, right? Like they did it in like New York. They didn't do that.
Everything was shut down. Well, yeah, we're gonna get to the details of all that. I'll tell you what really went down out here.
Yeah, we're definitely gonna need to get some Rolling Loud stories, man, because the things that I heard coming out of Miami, Florida, are fucking crazy. All right, so
we all remember what happened spring break. What was it, like spring break, like 2016 or whatever it was?
What happened?
When all the girls all the girlfriends was going crazy.
I don't remember this.
Bro, this was like 2016, 20. I know I'm not tripping. And the timeline was just going crazy about the spring break.
I mean, shit, when are they not going crazy spring break out there, bro?
Yeah, that's true. Very true.
That's a normal occurrence. Floridians don't believe in a pandemic. Yeah, we actually we got a frequent collaborator that's from Florida, and Man, that guy, he fits like every Floridian stereotype, man. That man was just out there clubbing like peak pandemic, bro. I was like, holy crap.
He's been enjoying himself, man. I don't
So,
blame him at all.
you're going crazy. Nah, I mean, but once it get to a certain point, man, like you can't just shelter yourself forever, man. Like it's just human instinct. You're gonna want to go out and enjoy yourself. I can't blame him either. But like when we're in the moment and we're inside of our houses trapped and we see other people outside, we're just like, holy shit, like we can't wrap our mind around it. Especially us Marylanders, we were extra cautious, I would say, compared to other states, maybe even a bit too much. Maybe even a bit too much.
On another level.
Yeah, man. Did you spend any time in Maryland during the pandemic, Joe?
I did. I was there for about a month.
Okay.
It was like on the low kind of thing. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Right.
I went out there and it was like, dude, it was completely different. Like pandemic Maryland, pandemic Miami were two different words.
All right, y'all. So let's go ahead and get into this, man. I guess we can kind of stay on the topic that we were already on about the pandemic. The last time we had you on the show, well before the pandemic, and the first time we had you on the show was actually October 5th, 2017. So almost 4 years to the day. Again, thanks for joining us. As we all know, if y'all have ever tuned into any of our other interviews with Joel, or if you don't already know who Joel is, if you're one of the students or not one of the students tuned into tonight's live stream, he's a football player, motivational speaker, and he's a teacher. So there's a lot of different layers to peel back about the last couple of months, I guess 2 years or year and a half in the life of Joel and CeeLo. What would you say has been like the most eye-opening experience during the pandemic for you?
I would say, man, just watching people's behaviors, man. And it was a lot of hypocrisy too. You know what I mean? It was funny because people were picking and choosing when to come at you, right? So say, for example, a person didn't wear a mask, you get attacked for not wearing a mask, but you see that same person doing the same thing, right? One example, I live in Florida, so everybody assumed that this was like the COVID hotspot and stuff like that. But then I'm here in Maryland, people playing basketball, having big time basketball games, and they're the same ones trying to call me out for going to a private gym. So I would say it was an adjustment, especially being a teacher, right? Because we had to transition from the traditional normal teaching to Zoom, straight Zoom, and we had to learn how to navigate through Google Classroom. So we had to adjust quick, and then there was a lot of pullback from the students, and then we had admin attacking us. It was just a lot of things happening. So teachers didn't get it. I feel like teachers don't get enough credit, especially with what we went through during this pandemic.
Yo, now that you Oh, go ahead, Brooks. You're on mute. Go ahead, bro.
Yeah, I meant to say elaborate a little bit more on that, man, because you just said like admin were attacking you, students were not having a good time either being taught or just being taken away from social settings. Like for me myself, I know I can say that going to Zoom University, that was difficult, bro. Like I'm used to hanging out at Towson, being at the BSO office.
Zoom
Towson
graduation,
town, whatever it may
bro.
be. I missed my graduation, all of that, and I can't get any of that time back. So I can't tell, or I can't imagine how those younger kids felt that whole time.
Yeah, well, I would say, I mean, from a teacher standpoint, it was difficult, trying to come up with assignments and trying to have a more engaging class. I would say my approach is a little different in comparison to the average normal teacher. I was, in a sense, I wanted to be a little bit more fun and, I would joke around with the kids and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, we had a task to complete. So I always try to make my classes engaging. So kids would say, CeeLo, your class is this and that. I'm not gonna say the rest, but I try to be as engaging as possible, especially with the content that I teach. Man, you have to be engaged. I have to be hyped. You know what I mean? Because my students know if I went in that class If I went into class boring, like, all right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and start. They'd shut their camera off and just slide.
Yeah.
So I think with students, you have to create engagement. Because even for myself, I get bored myself. If I get bored as a teacher, then the class is gonna get bored. So as a teacher, you're setting the tone of the class. So the virtual platform really taught me the meaning of being a leader and leading by example.
Yo, I just want to say though, man, now that you mentioned it, about how not only you're a teacher but teaching through the pandemic, man, salute to you, man, because you're doing something that a lot of people don't have the patience for, something that a lot of people, that people like you are underappreciated, right? The people that were doing, teachers, frontline workers and stuff like that. So salute to you on that, man. Zoom, did anybody even use Zoom before any of this? Like, this all just came
like
about the pandemic.
completely different random type of situation, man. Skype fumbled the bag real bad, bro.
Badly, man.
Y'all remember Uvu? Uvu could have been huge during this pandemic too, bro.
Yo, man, but Zoom has been incredible, bro. Like, here we are right now. We're on Zoom right now. Gary or Jerry?
Jari.
Jari. There we go. Here got Mr. Encilo coming through with the corrections, man. But Zoom is incredible, man. Because before this, it was Skype only for me. Obviously, you had the Uvus, even had the Omegos back in the day. I don't know if y'all remember Omego. We don't endorse Omego around here, by the way. Too much craziness on that website. But Zoom has been incredible, man. You've been able to find your way around it pretty easy, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, I had, like, even doing this, man, I'm like, oh, we gotta get the Zoom stuff again.
Yeah.
But it was tough at first, but I've been able to navigate through it pretty efficiently.
Yeah. Logan McEwen, what's up? How you doing,
What's up, Logan? Logan hit me up earlier asking about the stream, so glad you could pull in, brother.
Oh, Logan's one of your friends?
Yeah.
He subscribed, and then he followed. I don't know if he followed you, but he definitely followed me. So.
Oh, nice. Welcome, Logan. You're in for an interesting one, man. If you got some time, man, go grab a snack and get ready for some of these topics, man, because I don't want to, I would completely contradict myself if I were to say what I had originally thought, right? And it's because of what it's so drilled into my mind, these societal norms, right? I was going to say we're going to have this grown man conversation, but then that would completely contradict any stance that I would have against gender norms, because here I am labeling this conversation about relationships as grown man talk. But obviously it would be that, because that's what the three of us are. We're grown men. So
exactly.
Let's get into it, man. Basically, I wanted to bring y'all here today so we could talk about these societal norms, specifically gender norms. I guess we can kind of break off any subtopics that come away from that. My biggest thing that even influenced me wanting to talk about this was this model on Instagram model, Instagram influencer, whatever you want to call it. She was essentially saying that the man has to pay for everything for a woman. For, if y'all are together in a relationship, you got to pay for everything. And if you have already done that, even if we broke up, you have to continue doing that. You got to continue paying for all my shit. You got to continue providing for me. I don't care if we're not together anymore. So are you familiar? Are y'all familiar with what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I think so. I think you put it up on Instagram once. But...
Was it with that Blue Jasmine chick?
Yeah. That's right.
She came to Miami, as a matter of fact. Mm-hmm.
She's from Miami?
No, she came to Miami.
Oh, she came to Miami.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, I guess we could just start by breaking down, like, what do y'all think about the idea that men should have to pay for everything that their partner, man or woman? How do we feel? I guess in this situation, we'll have to be a bit more specific. How do y'all feel about that? I guess I could start with you, Brooks. How do you feel about the idea that the man should pay for everything for his girlfriend or his wife?
I mean, if you're gonna if you start off by doing that, then you got to be prepared to continue doing that. So if I was someone who, if I was making that type of money that I could just pay for dinners, pay for movies, pay for everything like that, she never has to lift a finger. I gotta be prepared to do that for the rest of our relationship. And if we're lucky enough to get married, be prepared to do that as well. Um, the job that I have or the job that I'm looking forward to doing, I wouldn't be able to do that. I can, and I've told my girlfriend that before too. Um, so it's not something that I'll be able to do, but it's something that I know that a lot of people are considering, and they be like, yeah, I want to be the breadwinner and I want to take care of you. If you want to stay home, you can stay home, but it's not the type of person that I would want to be with, or the type of person that I am.
Joe, I'll pass it on over to you.
Okay, well, in the market that I live in, right, um, it's levels to it. So depending on your income, right? So if you are that caliber of man that makes that particular income, I feel like it is your duty to do that. Um, Me personally, just my opinion, I would, just like Brooks, attest to what Brooks said. If you know, I'm not putting my financial business out there, but I'm kind of close to getting there. So I would pay for the majority of my lady's bills. Well, number one, I put it this way. If I get into a relationship and I see longevity in the relationship, right? I see potential marriage. I'll have her moving with me, but she wouldn't pay no rent. I don't know if we got too deep into the topic, but she wouldn't pay no rent. Why? Because I asked her to move in with me, right? All I need her to do is be my helpmate and support whatever I'm doing, be cooperative, and submission will come with it, because women naturally submit to leaders, men that are leaders and men that are competent, men that are going to hold it down, right? So I would say it all depends on your financial situation. Now, if you're a man that's not quite there financially, that conversation shouldn't even be said at the moment. You need to, continue just focusing on, depending on the relationship, the dynamic of the relationship. You know what I mean? If you've been with somebody for a certain amount of years and you're young, somewhat young, I don't think that'll be applicable. But if you're a single man in the market and you're not making that type of income, I would say just keep hustling, keep grinding until you get there.
Yeah.
Pedro, what do you think, bro?
I guess to a certain extent, I agree with what y'all said. Logan said these guys have good advice and like to talk about things and connect, and they are going to grow big time. Are you talking about Joe or are you talking about HMO? Probably talking about both. Appreciate that regardless, man.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
But oh, you're modded, by the way. I don't know if you noticed. But so my answer to that, I mean, is essentially agreeing with what y'all are saying to a certain extent where, if I have the funds for it, right? If I have a position, if I'm in a position in my life where me and my woman are together and we're ready to move out, or we already moved out or whatever, and I'm in a position where I'm making 20x what she's making, I'll be inclined to pay for most of her stuff.
There you go.
Not all of it, though. I wouldn't pay for all her bills. I would never want to pay for all of my woman's anything. Why? Because the way I see it, and in my own personal experience, relationships thrive when you are with somebody that you have like a friendship bond with, right? So you have to respect them on an individual level as much as a partner, right? So whether you know it or not, I mean, maybe it's different for everybody, right? But in my opinion, if you pay for everything that the other person wants, bills, wants and needs, right? Pay for everything. You're not really allowing them to be their fullest individual self, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? You're kind of giving them this idea of how things are always going to be. Who's to say that your situation may not change? Who's to say you might not get fired? Who's to say that your business might, go south? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of things that go into it. So you want to make sure that your partner is going to be somebody that you can trust, that she'll be able to do her own thing. And by doing that, you need to see, how is she already like beforehand? I'm not just going to go in, start dating this girl, and I'm going to just pay for everything. And one of the biggest things that I see was this Jasmine girl, and along with other people, we got the Justin LeBoys of the world that promote this. Men have to do everything for their lady, or else you're a shitty boyfriend. Like,
Don't get me started with him.
you know what I'm talking about, right?
Doesn't I know.
He's super corny, bro.
Yeah, no. So I see a lot of people perpetuating this idea that men have to do everything, and that's just the way it is. Why? I don't understand that. And those same people are going to be the ones getting on Twitter when it's, you know, Women's Empowerment Month or whatever. Like, and there's a march in DC, and you're going to talk about how gender roles suck and need to get eliminated. But then you retweet a Justin LeBoy talking about, you're not a real man if you don't pay for your woman. It's ass backwards to me. So I try to figure this out with people. Like, am I missing something here? Is this? I don't understand.
So can I go ahead and speak?
Go right ahead.
I got a lot to say on this.
I can jump in.
Pedro, so remember the H word I mentioned earlier, hypocrisy.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's a lot of women, man. Because women, I've noticed in this generation, right? Modern women, they want the traditional man. They want men to treat them the traditional way, but they don't act the traditional way. You know what I mean? They want to be men. You know what I mean? A lot of women are getting to a point where they're too masculine. You know what I mean? It's not a bad thing to be independent, but when you're blabbing about it, you're bragging about it, to me, it's a turn off. That's a masculine trait. You know what I mean? My biggest thing, man, is especially gender roles, right? More specifically, from a characteristic standpoint. I feel like as a man, because I've noticed even with men are kind of becoming the P word. You know what I'm saying?
What you mean by that?
Well, a lot of men are the term simp.
Gotcha.
Right? The term simp, and we all know what simping is, right? Now, a lot of people have a different viewpoint on simp, but I'm gonna speak on my definition of simp, right? Right. So if you're telling, you need to be a man of your word. That's number one. Now, if you don't follow through, you're a simp. I mean, if you don't follow through with your word, you're a simp. If you're not honest or upfront, you're a simp. You know what I mean? You got to be honest. You got to be assertive. You got to be confident. You got to be competent. You know what I mean? And again, you're called to be a protector. As men, we are protectors. You feel what I'm saying? So I truly believe I've seen a lot of men kind of just, would buy, pay $30, $40 for OnlyFans and then call these girls hoes. You know what I'm saying? It just doesn't make no sense. You know what I'm saying? How you gonna bash girls when you the one on OnlyFans, getting your rocks off? You know what I mean? So don't, you know what I mean? So that's what you call a simp. You feel what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, that's yo. By the way, OnlyFans is crazy, bro. I just gotta say, OnlyFans, the platform is so insane, bro. Like they're trying to move away from the adult stuff. Like they're actually trying to get into like subscription-based content for creators and stuff like that. Right. Shout out to OnlyFans, man. OnlyFans is like a $1.3 billion company, man. Shout out to them. But
man, these as long as there's horny men around, there's always going to be women being able to.
And the thing is, one thing I'll tell you.
And that shout out is not an endorsement. I don't have no OnlyFans, by the way. No subscription, no profile. I just want that out there. But
I feel like it's as a man, it's kind of the man's fault that OnlyFans was a sensation, because they're the ones donating to the girls. You know what I mean? So if men could stand their ground and hold their own and have some self-respect, it'll be a totally different society. So I feel like men are enabling this behavior from these modern women. Especially where I live at.
Self-control thing too.
Pardon me?
So I think it's a lot lack of self-control as well, just not being able to, there's so much that you can do besides, doing that deed. Like you can literally do 10 different things, and instead of doing that and focus on what you want to do. Like if you got I don't know, yard work to do, whatever it may be, or some work to do, instead of just distracting yourself, you should just do that instead, and then worry about, business first, pleasure second.
Right.
Spend that $40 subscription on OnlyFans, get a nice little haircut, and ask a girl out on a date. Go see her IRL, man.
It's crazy, man. It's wild.
Hey,
I would
chat,
say
don't
also,
lie. Hey, chat, don't lie. Do any of y'all got OnlyFans subscription to anybody? Don't lie. Between you and God.
I don't blame the women for getting their coin either, man, because some of them are able to get their own houses, some apartments, cars, whatever it may
able to
be.
profit from it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can change your whole life based off of that. So good for them for figuring out how to finesse.
That goes back to
not a lot of
the
people that can do that.
contradiction that Joe was talking about. People, I would say a lot of men shame women for being on OnlyFans while funding them. So
It doesn't make no sense.
It's a little bit ass backwards, man.
Right.
Oh
And
God, I told my mama.
that's my biggest thing. If you're gonna shame, stick to your word, and I think another problem I want to address. That's why I was excited to be on this platform. Men not stand on their purpose.
Elaborate on that a little bit.
So more specific, especially for single men, a lot of them chase tail than to chase purpose. You know what I'm saying? Because the more you chase tail, the lesser chance your purpose will eventually come into fruition. I think it's important that as men, we focus on chasing our purpose, chasing our dreams, accomplishing our goals, than chasing tail. Because a lot of times, even I made that mistake, you know what I mean? Where I went through a phase where I was chasing tail. And I started realizing, like, I've spoke about this on my story. I started realizing, like, man, I'm not, I'll skip workouts just to go meet up with a hot IG model in my, you know what I mean? Like, so I was making a lot of mistakes, and I know what it's like, you know what I mean, to make those mistakes, especially in the midst of your grind. You know what I mean? That was my biggest mistake. I was chasing, it wasn't a thing I always did, but I had certain phases where, that was my focus. And I caught myself, I started to lose myself because of that. I've been reading this book, man. I've been reading a couple books, bro, and that really changed my outlook on like the dating scene. And I think that's why I'm not gonna say successful, but I'm more picky and cautious with who I date. And I don't put my stuff out there. And I've had a quite number of experiences out here in Miami that really taught me the whole gender role and the hypergamy of women, the whole 9 yards.
You can't have like a balance with it though. You can't be within your purpose. You can't know who you are and still, like our early 20s, that's what it's for sometimes, is figuring out who you are and figuring out what you want to do as far as like dating wise, whatever it may be, making those mistakes.
And Brooks, you made a very valid point, right? I'm gonna hit 30 next year. You know what I'm saying? So I gotta start taking life a lot more serious. Now, when I was in my early 20s, that's when I was reckless. You know what I mean? I was playing ball in college. From a mature standpoint, I really was not there. You know what I mean? My goal was play ball, do your thing, which is cool. You do your thing to your own right? But at the same time, make sure you stay on your purpose. Don't let no chick get you caught up, especially in your early 20s, because that's when, as males, we're just like, man, I'm trying to get this. I'm trying, we just all over the place with it.
Do you think that the same thing, how you're saying, for people should probably avoid just chasing tail and instead chasing their purpose? Would the same go for people that are chasing love? Because some people chase love the same way they chase ass. You know what I mean? Like they want a girlfriend real bad. They want to be in love or feel like they're in love. Does the same thing apply to that?
See, the love part, man, I think chasing love is a problem. That means there's a missing void that you have within you. If you're chasing love, there's something missing within you. I feel like love comes with throughout the relationship, right? Love comes with it. But if you're chasing love, you're looking for love, you're gonna get the wrong kind of love. That means you have some psychological issue you need to get some therapy if you're
Yeah, you can't allow,
searching.
you can't chase it. It's got to come to you naturally. It's got to happen.
Exactly. Exactly. And that was my problem. I did the same. I did all kind of things. I was chasing cat and chasing love, and the outcomes just were whoop.
Yeah. Yeah, man. That's what, like you were saying, you got to chase purpose. What up, chat? Make sure y'all hit the thumbs up on this video. I didn't tag Joe and CeeLo, but let me go ahead and drop his socials real quick for y'all. Hit him up on Instagram and Twitter.
Yeah.
So there you go. I just dropped his IG in the chat. Anybody want to? We'll link it in the description a little later on. But so yeah, chasing, like you said, you gotta chase purpose. That's what I think. I agree with you on that, man. If you have no purpose and you're chasing love, it is kind of like filling a void, man. Like you feel like you want to. A lot of people just do it because they're lonely or bored, not necessarily because they feel that way. So yeah. I agree with you on that, man.
Yeah.
Peanut, what up, man? Welcome to the stream, Brody.
Who's that?
So one of the subs just pulled
Okay,
up.
okay. Now I would say, man, when it comes to that also, man, I started to reevaluate some of the relationships I've been a part of. And you gotta understand, you gotta be more self-aware of your emotions in that period of time. I think self-awareness is key, especially for men and women. You know what I mean? Because if you're getting into a relationship with no type of self-awareness, your behavior just won't be put together. You know what I mean? Like my last relationship, like I said, around that time period, I was looking for love because I had just lost a father figure. You know what I mean? So that put a big hole, and I was in a big city in Miami, not knowing anybody.
This
You know
was
what I mean?
like
So
right when you left.
yeah, like right when I moved to Miami, playing in the RPFL, I got into a relationship within the next month. Within the month, with a chick, and she was a good girl. I just wasn't there because, and then once we started doing our thing, I was like, I don't even want her no more. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not gonna disclose her name or anything.
No, don't do
Nah,
that.
we don't do that. Nah. But it was just messed up because I had to end it because I got bored real quick. That's when I realized that I am not in the season to be in a relationship. I need to continue to focus on playing ball and keep training and doing my thing. That's why I had a lot of hiccups in my football career because of women. I'll be open to tell people that. And then later on, I've even had opportunities, like some NFL opportunities that could have been there, but I was so focused on tail in the midst of that moment that I missed out on those opportunities. You feel what I'm saying? So that's what I'm putting it out there so people understand like why it's so important to always stay on your purpose.
Yeah, man. That's why it goes back to the whole individuality thing, man. Like if you're with somebody or not, single or
right.
in partnership, you always got to make sure that you are choosing yourself, that you are respecting yourself, and
love yourself.
Your individuality going on there, man. Because if you don't love yourself, it's going to be pretty much impossible to love somebody else. It'd be like a relationship built on a foundation of cards, man. That shit will come crumbling down real easy.
Exactly.
But so that's what we're talking a little bit about relationships, man. Let's different directions. So we talked about relationships. I guess we fall in the same category as dating and stuff like that. Even things like dating in 2021 are weird now because
treacherous, bro. It's treacherous out here. Treacherous in the streets.
Hey, I wouldn't know because shit, you and I wouldn't know, man, because we both been, off the single market for quite some time, man. So I don't know what the dating scene is like, but I have seen a lot of astrology talk basically deteriorating relationships before they even start. I've had it happen to me before. I see it happening, I guess, even more now, at least on social media, that is, people going heavy on the astrology. So I'll start with you on this, Brooks, man. Have you had like any I guess first of all, what I should ask is, what do you think about astrology and or zodiac signs in general? Like, do you feel like it has some merit to it? Do you think that it's something that we should really look into and say that person is not a good person because of A, B, C, and D?
I mean, as far as like assuming how a person would be because of their sign and how the stars are, like I wouldn't say that was a good idea. I wouldn't go off of that. But there are some truths about like, how like the universe and the energies around you kind of like make you as a person, I guess. Um, and you always have those girls like, oh, what's your sign? What's your chart? When were you born? This, that, and the third, and like, you play along with the game, and sometimes you're like, oh, some of this is true, some of that isn't true. I'm iffy about it. Like, there's some things I believe in, there's some things I don't, but I'm not like for it or against it. I'm more like, I'm really down the middle as far as astrology goes.
Yeah. What you think about it, Joel? The zodiac signs, astrology in general.
Um, Going back, piggyback off of Brooks, I feel like when it comes to the whole horoscope thing, my biggest thing, I always take every information with a grain of salt, right? So I'm not, and I'm more on the side of I don't really believe in that stuff too much, because I've even looked at my particular sign and I've seen some of the stuff they say, and I looked at other signs and it sounds all the same. You know what I mean? Like, just put it out there. It says Scorpio is a big freak. Taurus is a freak. This guy's freaking 10 o'clock at night. This and that is more compatible with this and that. So it's just so much inaccurate information. There's nothing consistent when it comes to horoscopes. You know what I mean? Because when I was doing research, because my ex-girlfriend, she was really deep into it. I mean, she was like a bona fide horoscope fiend, right? So I was like, and she knew that I wasn't into it, but I was like, okay, since I love her and care about her, let me see what this is all about. So I did my own research and I started seeing the inconsistencies in the information. Nothing was completely just straight answers. I mean, there was a lot of different facts, information. So
I think it's more like a guide than it is like it's not
exactly.
Like, it's not law, you know what I'm saying?
It's not.
Like,
thank you.
Yeah, it's more like, oh, Sagittarius, because I'm a Sagittarius. Oh, Sagittarius, today, you have a big decision coming up,
right?
And you gotta pick this, that, and the third, and make sure that you're, this, that, and like, it's not law, but it's something like a guide. It's something that like you consider when you're going through things, and we always talk about Mercury being in retrograde and all these different things.
Exactly. You gotta take that with. Sorry, Brooks, my bad.
My bad. I'm just gonna get off on one thing. Just like, yeah, like sometimes these things do throw you off, and they do make you make questionable decisions, I guess. Right. But at the same time, it's not like these things don't define you. They're just a guide. They're not law at all.
Yo, Mercury in the retrograde. So apparently, if I got this correct, Mercury or retrograde Mercury has to do with like literally the planet Mercury, aligning at a certain point, like once or twice a year. Is that what it is, Brooks?
Something like that. I really couldn't tell you. I just know the running joke about it.
That's what I hear it a lot, right? That I probably could look into it more. But one thing that I do know for sure is that zodiac signs have not only been proven to not really have any link scientifically, it's considered now a pseudoscience. So it's really, I don't even really want to say, like, I think I said it before, but I don't know if this offends anybody or not, but I view zodiac signs kind of like religion. Like, some people feel, it makes them feel good. You know what I mean? There's not always going to be, like, for any religion, there's not always going to be 100% scientific proof that, all these certain things happen, right? Like, like Scientology or religion, that's stuff can be proven, that can be disproven, but makes people feel good. I know that's probably an extreme example, but the way I view it is more just like, it's more like just to make people feel good, and especially the horoscopes. The thing that I don't like about the horoscopes, though, I know they're supposed to make you feel good, but I feel like they kind of make their killing, at least on social media, by saying what insecure people already want to hear. You're going to overcome this, you're going to overcome that. It's great messaging, but don't you dare come up to me and tell me, oh, you're a Gemini. Nah, we're not going to be cool. Nah, you're a Gemini. I know you. Nah, you don't know shit about me. You know what I mean? Go ahead, Joe.
Pedro, man, and I'm so glad that you even brought that up, right? I remember back in 2018, I had met this gorgeous woman, right? And she asked me for my sign. Literally, when I told her my sign, she just blocked me and cut me off. She told me she was gonna do that. She was like, "Oh, I gotta block you." I was like, "You serious?" She's like, "Yeah, because you're a Scorpio." So I'm like, "You barely know me." You know what I mean? Like, do people hear how they sound when they say these things? And I also feel like it helps validates people. You know what I mean? People feel validated by reading these things, especially when people have been through so much hurt. So people look for these outlets like horoscopes, and they feel like horoscopes is a perfect way to help them cope, right? So they see things because women like what they women want to hear what they, you know what I'm saying? You know how women are. They um they're all about what they want to hear, right? Men, we're big on visual. We're all about visuals. We're all about action. Women is all about emotions and what they hear, right? So a lot of times, if you really notice, more women are into the horoscope thing than men. Men don't really care about the horoscope stuff. Women are into all that. Yeah, your moon sign is this, or your sun rising is this and that. My ex used to talk like that, and I had to learn to just stop, like, falling in lines with what people say regarding horoscopes. I just started really keeping it real with people. I really don't believe that stuff. There's some truth behind it, though. Don't get it twisted. There's some truth because of where the universe is aligned and stuff like that. But
Yeah.
for the most part, I'm not a big advocate on horoscopes.
And I think you can't confuse it with like a spirituality thing either, because there are people that, like, they truly do believe in just like how like the universe and all these energies
The
and
natural world, yeah.
there are natural things to it, but then as far as just like the sun
Yeah.
and the stars and how these things line up, it feels like it's pseudoscience, and it probably is, but when it's true, it's true, and when it's false, it's false, and it's just, again, it's all just like a guide type of thing. It's not something I don't think it's something that you should base your whole life around.
Like you said, law.
It's not law. Yeah, it's not law.
It's not law.
It's just something it's something that can help guide you. And again, just like what Pedro said with religion, it's like something that helps you feel good and all that, but don't base your whole life on it.
Yep, it's a
So Mercury in the retrograde is an optical illusion, which means it looks as if the planet is moving backwards from our view here on Earth. Astrologers believe that during this perceived backwards motion, technology and communication could get disrupted, putting a damper on anyone's summer mood. So that happens in the summer. Interesting. I had no idea that that's what that meant. I was watching something earlier talking about something completely different, but so I guess that's what it is, right? When they say, I'm feeling off. Maybe there's Mercury in the retrograde. That's what that means. That's crazy, chat.
Yeah,
appreciate the follow on IG, Logan. Make sure to hit Mr. Encilo and the Joe Encilo story on Instagram as well. Show some love on IG and Hot Media and Grown by Dro, of course.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Definitely make sure you show some love on the IG. Yeah, man, the whole zodiac thing is interesting. So I was gonna ask, like, y'all already kind of answered the question. I was gonna say if y'all had any experiences with relationships that got fumbled because of that. So I see y'all both already kind of have some experience in that.
I'll tell you another example.
Yeah,
I remember in my last relationship, it was early in the morning. My ex called me, and she was panicking. I was like, "What's going on?" She's like, "Well, according to the chart, it says that you're gonna get bored of me. And I was like, what? She's like, yeah, it's gonna eventually happen. It's gonna happen on a someday. And that's when I was a little confused, like, what? You know what I mean? And her whole day was ruined because of that. Because of what she saw in my chart, her whole day was shut down. But then again, she was on her, you know what? So that's why she felt some type of way. So she was trying to shit test me. That's what women tend to do, shit test.
Interesting.
Yeah.
She's trying to see how much she could see how much she can get away with.
That's one thing I tell all my dudes that are in relationships, like all my homies. I'm like, yo, she's trying to see if you're competent. She wants to see if you're the man that you say that you are. Women will shit test you. They will say things indirectly. They're not good at directly telling you how they feel. They just expect you to know. Yeah. So it's a man's job to just know. You're supposed to just know. And then when you just don't know, that's when you catch the attitude. And then that's when, but I don't argue though. I don't argue.
You said shit testing?
Shit testing.
Yeah, I think I
heard that one before.
I think I could say I had like a similar I had like a shit test with Brendoza actually. Like she would tell me little shit like she'd be like, what's one of the things that she would say when we first started talking? She'd be like, oh my God, that dude over there, he gave me his, because she was bartending, right? At TGI Friday. She'd be like, oh my God, that dude over there, he gave me his number. And like, I didn't ask for that information, right? So I already knew what was going on there. I'm like, she just want to see how I'm going to react. She want to see if I'm going to get mad. She want to see if I'm going to be like, oh.
Yeah.
So I would say that's probably like shit test that I had in my current relationship.
Yeah, women tend to do that a lot. Also, you got to also look at this, right? That's why it's so important for a man to always maintain frame. Always be poised. I mean, always control the situation. Because once a man loses control of a situation, you lost, man. You lost. So always have poise, maintain frame, and always control the situation. Because she's looking up to you as a leader. Now, if she sees that you're not competent enough to be a leader, she's gonna start looking at other dudes. That's just that was, and I made that mistake. I was looking up to her as a leader, and she was trying to get me to be the leader, but I wasn't at that time period the man that I intended to be around that time period. So I learned a lot from my previous relationship. I'll be open to tell people, like, I'm all about accountability. All about accountability. I'm never the type to be like, yeah, man, you know, that bitch was crazy. Like she was this and that. And, you know, I was always in the right. Nah. You know what I mean? Because I had enabled those behaviors. You know what I mean? So I did a lot of work on myself, bro. Like these past 2 years, breakup.
So you say, like, if you had to be a leader, right, in your relationship, not you specifically, but like in general. Right. What if there's a situation though where the girl's like, I'm the leader, but I'm not looking to no other dudes, but I run shit. Like, what would you say for something like that?
You want me to tell you the truth? You want me to tell you the honest truth?
The 100% honest truth, bro. Deuces, see ya.
Because that's not a woman's job to run the relationship. Now she may be a major support and be a help. Her job is to be a helpmate and support her man. And she maintains her independence, right? But her job is not to run the relationship. She's not gonna run the relationship. You know what I mean? That's too masculine. You know what I mean? That's too masculine. I mean, could you imagine being in a relationship and she was like, maybe in the bedroom, yeah, that'd be a little different story. Shoot. But handcuffs, whatever, it's like that. But but now, man, I just don't, just me personally, I'm very traditional in certain aspects. But when it comes to her saying I'm running the relationship, I'm gonna leave. I've done that before too. That's the crazy thing. Once I notice some masculine traits, yo, you getting dubbed. I've done that with 3 girls as recent because of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree with you though. I would be, I would say 90% of my relationships before my current one failed for that exact reason, where I was basically attracting a bunch of women that wanted to be the one that's wearing the pants. And I
Yeah.
just I couldn't get with that. I mean, I'm not even gonna hold y'all. I tried to get with that once just to see how it would go, and it was exactly what I thought it was going to be. It was going to be me losing my confidence. It was going to be me mostly getting stepped on, and eventually, I'm not sure if it happened or not, but I probably got cheated on. I didn't know, but
I probably have too. It's all good.
but I do want to say this though, like, you don't feel like it's possible at all for that to work out, because clearly in my situation it hasn't worked out, and for you, you're saying it don't work out.
Nah, it never works. Never works. That means you're a beta male to me. If you let her run the relationship, she's gonna start looking at other dudes. Well, I'm just speaking just in the market that I'm currently in.
Yeah.
So Miami is such a competitive dating market because there's so much money out here. So this dude's making a substantial amount of income out here. So you're competing with those dudes. But me personally, I'm not focused on those dudes. I'm more focused on me being the best version of Joel.
Yeah.
And that's how I'm able to attract a certain type of woman. Me being the best version of me, you start to attract. The better you are, the more quality you attract. The worse you are, the worse you attract.
That goes back to what you were saying, chasing purpose and not chasing ass, chasing love.
Right.
Because if you work on yourself, it's gonna what
It
you're
all
what you're
comes.
wishing for is gonna come back to you tenfold. Brooks, man, how do you feel about this, man? Could you ever let your partner wear the proverbial pants?
No, I don't think I could. It's there's certain things that like I personally I like it when Ms. Agia, like, she orders for me. I like that. And there's other things, there's other certain things that, like, I enjoy this. So it's like, yeah, go ahead. If you want to order, if you want to do this or the third, like, if you even if you want to pick where we go to eat, I'm cool with that. But as long as it's not like there shouldn't be more power on her side than it is on my side. I shouldn't have more power than on her side. Like, it should be. Me personally, I'm not like a big gender roles guy. Like, I think we should give and take equally the same. And if I'm helping you out, you got to help me out, and those type of things. But no, I couldn't be with someone who's gonna emasculate me or try to assert her will too much into my life, because I gotta do what I gotta do. You gotta do what you gotta do, but don't invade into my life because of just who you are. Because this is not gonna work for me.
Langston said, no matter how dominant a woman is, for the right man, she will be submissive. And that's kind of going to what Joe was saying. Like, a lot of times when the woman feels like their man is not, I guess what you would call taking control, right? Or just being more assertive, she's going to view you as most likely less of a man. You know what I mean? And you're 100% right about that. You find the right woman, she's going to want to adjust.
The right woman. Exactly.
The right woman, because there's so many forced toxic relationships, man. My heart goes out to all, because I got so many homies that are currently or have recently dealt with stuff like that, man, with women that are alpha, overly aggressive, I would even say. So and like holding on to toxic stuff, if any of y'all are holding on to something toxic that it's not going anywhere, please do yourself that favor and mow the lawn. You know what I mean? Cut the snakes out the grass, man.
I think it just takes, when it comes to getting out of a toxic situation, Judge, I think it takes willpower. It's going to take a lot of willpower to get yourself out of it, because there's no other way, because a lot of times,
Man or woman.
Right. We love, I don't know why humans tend to love just dysfunction. What we're comfortable with, and I think with me, although I've made my mistakes, but one thing that I know about myself is I can get myself out of a situation, because especially with the substantial amount of adversity that I've experienced. When you live on your own and you have no family or really barely any friends in this big ass city like Miami, it really teaches you how to grow the hell up. You know what I mean? And I've been slapped so many times, like life has slapped me so many times down here where it built me to who I'm becoming to be. I don't want to say the man I am today, but who I'm striving to be.
Yeah.
So that's just my
Yeah.
say.
So that's basically, I guess that's kind of what a little bit about what we were talking about the whole gender norms, the roles that people play in today's society. Um, what do y'all think, guys? What do y'all think? For anybody that's tuning in a little bit later here, the original question to start off this whole conversation was, before I ask that question, toxic is the nature of many relationships now because it became cute and trendy. They think toxic features shows a sign of love. Yeah, I don't understand that. It's a difference between infatuation and love, bro.
Yeah.
A lot of people are infatuated, bro. A lot of people are in love with the idea of something, but you ain't really actually loving that thing because you can do without it. If you know that you can do without it,
See,
that's the biggest indicator.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that's the power of sex. Honestly, it goes back to this. All equates to sex. You know what I mean? Because most people stay in toxic situation because of sex. You know what I mean? I think mostly on the woman's side. I think they're like for us men. Honestly, I mean, I'm not saying that all men are like this, but for most men, we can go out there and have sex and not have any more of an extracurricular activity. More just
Reset that, bro. We just lost you out on them.
oh oh my bad. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say for men when it comes to sex and the toxic situation, right? When it comes to toxicity, it all equates to sex. So with sex, I feel like with men, we do it because it's just quick little pleasure and it's exciting. Women, it takes a lot of emotion, right, to even enjoy the sex because women can't just throw themselves out there and just start letting somebody hit and be like, all right, I don't feel no type of way. If you don't feel no type of way after you know, experienced some form of intercourse, then there's something psychologically wrong with you because that's not biologic from a biological standpoint. That's just not how they're built.
So then shouldn't that
Okay.
have, so shouldn't, but if it's a if we're both exchanging in that act, wouldn't that apply to men as well though? Because some men can't, like you said, it's not a universal thing. Like some men can't handle
Right.
that type of relationship or that type of situation too.
Yeah. No, I agree. I would say, like I said, not all men. I would say most men. Um, so how I view toxic situations. I've been in toxic situations before, and I was kind of just in it for the cutty, to be honest with you. But then I started realizing, yeah, real talk. Like I started realizing, like, dang, I don't even want this chick, but I keep doing it because the shit is good. For her, it's all emotion. It's more like, damn,
Yeah.
I love him, but I don't love him. Like, what's going on? You know what I mean? That's why it's important for a man to be straight up and honest, so those things don't happen. And it's up to the girl if she still wants to continue doing it. That's why it's important that men must be honest.
Yo, Langston, man, you nailed it though, bro. The thing about toxic is that now, I don't know if it was pop culture, man. I don't know if it was the music or TV entertainment, bro. But like somewhere along the way, toxic became trendy. I don't that's the part where I'm like, yo, that's crazy, bro. Like toxicity within relationships got very trendy all of a sudden. Where people kind of would say like, we made it through hell and back. Like nah, man. Once you make it to hell, bro, you're gonna stay there forever most times. But I don't know. People can recover from stuff, I guess. But the cute and trendy with the toxicity is we need to find a way as a society to kind of put that behind us, man. I don't know if it might be more of a thing with women than it is with men. I'm not sure. but as far as the toxicity, man, we need to just up and leave these things and stop celebrating
Leave.
that shit. Stop celebrating that shit. It's not cool. It's not cute. And we all know what happens with trends. They die and they become a thing of the past. So
OnlyFans.
So I got
OnlyFans, I'm looking forward to them steer away from the adult content. I mean, the adult content is cool and all for the people creating and making money, but I think OnlyFans needs to start getting this recognition as a social media platform where people are going to do their subscription-based content. You know, we could do HMO podcasts on OnlyFans. Motherfuckers would be like, "What? You and Brooks are about to be stripping or something?" No, we're about to be doing our podcast. We're going to be talking about bonus content, man. It's not always just adult content on OnlyFans, man. So once it gets to there, we might have to start making some OnlyFans, man.
It sounds funny you saying it though.
make our OnlyFans bread, man. You know what I mean?
It sounds so you saying that though. That's the funny part.
He said for real. Hey, no, man, but everybody making their money on OnlyFans. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to y'all. So we talked about the zodiac signs. We talked about these gender norms, stuff like this, man. We kind of went over everything that we were going to talk about here today, man. So I guess one of the last few topics that we can go over here before we get out of here, bro. How do you feel now about just the dating scene in Miami? Like, are you out there trying to talk to any of these girls right now? Or are you just focusing on yourself?
You know, now I'm dating with more intention. Now that I continue to level up, I'm dating women that are within my caliber, right? Social status as well. So I got a little date tomorrow. So
hey, yes, sir.
all right.
Look, Miami, man, Miami, bro. I don't know if did we fully get into it earlier at the beginning of this episode about how pandemic life in Miami? Did we get into
not
that?
the full, just dips and pieces.
Tell us a little bit more about it then, man.
Let's talk about that for a little bit because I was very curious about that. So two different worlds, like we were saying at the beginning, the DMV, COVID central at the beginning, right? Everybody locked inside. And then we have Florida, which was, following everything, but they kind of went out there a little bit before most other states, man. Tell us about COVID life in Miami, Florida.
I mean, honestly, man, it was just like everywhere else. Like the first 2 months, man, it was mask up. If you were outside past a certain time, the police would get you.
Damn.
I mean, so it's funny because me living here and then seeing what the media was portraying, it was two different things. I think the media was only covering the little small pockets of house parties that depicted Miami being wild. But to be honest with you, it was really strict. They were strict out here and everything was pretty much shut down. Now, one thing I will tell you that the media did not lie about was Miami did open up earlier than, other places like Miami, Georgia, Arizona, and I think Vegas were the 4 spots that opened up early. And when they did open up early, it was like a whole rush of people from everywhere coming. And it wasn't people from Miami causing this mess. It was people from other places causing this mess.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's always just like with riots and protests going on. It's always the out-of-towners that end up ruining the situation. Setting places on fire, creating, disasters all around.
It wasn't people from the actual town. You know what I mean? Like even I remember one time I was walking around the beach. The beach was closed around that time. They didn't open up the beach until late May of 2020. So the beach was closed for 2 months. The month of March, the month of April, and then half of May, the beach was closed. So I was walking around the beach, and then there would be police officers like mask patrolling. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to get out and take a walk because being in the house all day long sucked, man. It was hard. You know, being in the crib all day long, me watching Netflix, ordering food all day. It was tough. I'm like, man, I got to get out. And I had just moved to this new location. I live on the beach now. So like, I wanted to experience it. I wanted to have that more of the experience of living on the beach. But now that, things are a lot more normal now. I'm able to really experience this life, and it's been pretty well, man. I'm not gonna lie, like just walking distance from the beach, not bragging, but it's just really a dope scene. Just you just take a walk. I don't go as often as I used to, but it's luxurious. It's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, that's what's up, bro. That's what, yo, like we said at the beginning, big step up from DMV to Florida. So that's what's up, man. Living your did you expect yourself to be out there? Like if when you were out here, you think Miami was your next stop?
I do when I came here for that because I came for the RPFL. Um, my only intentions were just to stay here, and then I had intended playing on in the spring league. I got hurt, so I wasn't able to play in the spring league. And when I got hurt after the RPFL, I was getting offers from so many different leagues, bro. But I was hurt, so everything started dying out. Coaches started ignoring me once I started getting healthy. I had overseas, I had arena, I had a CFL workout. I had a lot of opportunities thrown at me because I had such a dominant season with the RPF. I made a bunch of plays. So dudes was hitting me up on Facebook, social media, the whole nine yards. This is stuff that people don't know, but I'm just putting it out there so people understand. So I lost a lot of opportunity because of injury.
Wow.
Because when you get signed as a pro and you go to a team injured, they're gonna send you back. They're gonna release you, especially at a lower caliber professional league. You know, in the NFL, it might be a little different because they have more money. But when you go to these arenas or the CFL, man, you come there injured, they're gonna send your ass home. They don't care. You know, it's a cutthroat business. You know, so I had no intention of being in Miami this long, but it just kind of happened. You know, and me being a teacher, I had no intention of being a teacher. It kind of just happened. So everything just happened organically, and I kind of just went with the flow of what life was giving me.
Yeah, you made lemonade with the lemons you were given.
Bingo.
You
But
miss
I made
it.
the most of it though. I was struggling living in these motels, and I slept in my car for 2 nights. I lived in motels with holes in the wall. I lived in a hotel. I lived with two different families. One family from Venezuela for 2 months, and then a Cuban family for 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask you then, when you had these, breakthroughs and struggles as far as the RPFL went, how did you feel mentally during that time, man? Like how was what was your mindset going through all that?
Dude, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. And I don't really express those emotions like that. But dude, I was effed up, man. I mean, it was because again, around that time period when I first moved to Miami, I had just lost a significant person. So my emotions were already everywhere. And especially when things didn't work out to my favor, I thought like I'm just a bad luck person. And I started really looking back at my college experiences and started having a lot of regrets. You know, even going all the way back to high school, like, man, if I went to a good master, if I went to a good counsel, if I had, did this better, or I started having regrets. I started getting real low and I lost myself, dog. Like having those type of crazy thoughts, depression, getting low on myself. And it was hard to really tell people these things because I didn't think that people would be willing to listen and hear me out podcast. So, but it was tough, man. It was a tough period, man. And I just had to learn to I broke myself down, but I've always found a way to build myself up. And that's where the confidence started to rise. Every little situation, every little adversity I went through, I get punched in the face, but I learned to bring myself back up. You know, getting fired, I got fired from a job. You know what I mean? One job out here, my first year living in Miami. And I'm like, oh, how do I get fired when I'm just living in a roommate? They're expecting rent soon. So I was getting help from, my mother and family members to help me pay rent and bills and stuff like that I had. Um, so then when I started working in South Beach as a security guard, that's kind of what got me up to par. I started hustling, man. Like I would hustle people out on the streets. I was working the nightlife scene. People were so desperate to come to the venue that I worked at. So I'd be doing side hustles on the street, making $300 on pay. You would think I was selling drugs with the kind of money I was making on the side. But people were desperate to party out there, man. So I took advantage of that and started seeing how people really fiend parties out there. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Taking advantage of the market.
By any means, man.
I've worked at the Miami Heat arena too.
Nice.
So I got a chance to see like that. Like I've done so much out here, man. I could give you the whole rundown, but I've done a lot, bro.
I want to ask you this, bro, because for so long you were doing that football thing and you were dedicated to that football thing.
Yeah.
And then you were done with it. You had to move on with life, man. Did you ever feel like you had like a crisis of identity, or was it just like a smooth transition for you?
Nah, honestly, man, a lot of people ask me this question. I'm gonna put it this way. I would say when things happen naturally, you don't think about it, right? So the education thing happened so naturally because I started seeing this fulfillment of seeing a kid that comes from this hood. He's looking up to me, right? And I'm guiding him. I'm seeing him grow because of the advice that I'm giving him and the fulfillment I'm providing him. So I didn't go through what a lot of athletes go through in terms of the identity crisis because I've already had that giving back platform already. So education was so natural.
Yeah.
Great question, Brooks. Great question.
I was gonna say, do you take any of your skill set, or I guess mental skill set, from the football field into the classroom?
Now y'all asked some great questions. I do. The dedication, right? Dealing with imagine dealing with a bunch of kids that don't know you, right? You gotta understand, kids from inner city, man, they deal with a lot of things, right? They encounter a lot of issues, especially Liberty. I'm not sure if you heard of Liberty City.
I believe in Florida.
Yeah, in Miami. That's a hood in Miami. So you got Liberty City, you got Little Haiti, you got Overtown, you got Opelika, you got Carroll City, right? Carroll City, Rick Ross talked about Rick Ross from there, I believe. Chad Johnson, Antonio Brown, he's from Liberty City. You got the Opelikas. What's that wide receiver that plays for the Cowboys?
Des Bryant.
Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, yeah.
Cooper, he's from Opelika. And then you have like all these guys that made to the NFL are from those areas. So when you drive, like my job is in those areas, and I used to live in those areas. So seeing the climate and the behaviors and how people operate, you understand why these players are the way they are. Because if you look at the environment, you see people on the street, a bunch of homeless people, a bunch of tents, a bunch of people selling dope in the corner. You know what I mean? You see all those things going on. So when I see my students and they come from those circumstances, I have to be cognitive and understand where they're coming from, right? And that's how I'm able to attack and do what I do as a teacher, understanding your students, where they're coming from, what they're going through, right? And really just being empathetic, not sympathetic. I'm not going to feel sorry for you. It's your job to get your ass up and do what you're supposed to be doing. That's why I always tell my kids, get your ass up. Like, I'm very real with them. But what I do tell them is I have empathy for them. So I'm going to hear you out. But it's your job to get your ass up and get going, because life don't wait.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. Like we said before, man, frontline workers and teachers, very underappreciated. Well, I'm not even going to say underappreciated the entire time, but towards the beginning of COVID, everything was a salute to the front line, whatever. But people are forgetting that we are still in kind of a pandemic right now, and it's not fully over yet, vaccines or not. So even then, King Peace, what up, man? Welcome to the stream, bro. What I was going to say was this, man. Teachers are absolutely underappreciated, even before the pandemic, through the pandemic. So salute to you, man. It's going to be an interesting semester. I don't know if they're doing this out in Florida, but in Maryland, they're saying vaccine or not, all the kids got to wear masks. Are they doing that out there where you're at too? Everybody got to wear masks in the classroom?
So it all depends on the school, particular school. I work at a charter school, so they're more, I would say, the majority. They want people to wear it. But again, people here have a choice, right? Because
Yeah.
if you have the vaccine, you have an option not to wear it. So, but I would say it's a pleasure to get back in the classroom full attack again, because it's not like being in a classroom than Zoom.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Zoom was a
Even
nightmare.
this whole year, did you guys go back at all this during this last semester or anything?
In
Or
person,
yeah,
we actually, so we were the first state to go back in person. But the way we went in person was different because there was what 75% of the students were in person, then you had that 35-20 that were at home strictly. So I had to teach through the screen still in person. So you had kids still on their laptops in the classroom, but I was also teaching the kids at home. So I'm teaching the two at the same time, if that makes sense. You know what I mean? The kids that are in class, the only difference with the kids in the classroom, the kids on Zoom, the kids in the classroom had that physical interaction with me. And I had to control whether you go to the bathroom or any behavior issues that happen. But when it comes to the kids on Zoom, there's not really I could do in terms of behavior unless a kid, posts porn on his phone or has sex, makes sex noises and stuff like you deal with a lot of these different things that happen, especially
yeah,
as a teacher.
I'd be forgetting how these kids are sometimes, man. Because I hear that, I'm like, man, they out of pocket. But
Dude, I can tell you a couple stories, man. I'm not gonna disclose who the kid is, but this one kid, man, he didn't hop in my class, but he hopped in another class, and they were just making like they turned the cameras off and was making like moaning sounds and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Putting diss tracks saying "fuck these," you know what I mean, on the on the doing class time. I had a kid, man. I'll never get this story, man. I'm over here teaching a whole lesson, and I have this kid cooking eggs during my lesson.
oh wow,
Popping all over popping out the pen and all this on the
Yeah, cooking. Like,
screen.
and I said, dude, what are you doing? Hey, mister, man, I'm hungry. So I flipping the eggs. I said, yo, this has got to be the most entertaining. Next time I see, I'll show you a video of it. But that was one of the most entertaining experiences. I said, man, this is some Zoom stuff right here.
Yo, Christian
that's
Rice, what
crazy.
up, man? He said they can then how can you see their faces if they're happy or not? What you talking about, Logan? I was gonna ask you, bro, what's your what's the age range for your students?
Um, Typically 11 through 13.
11 through 30, 11 years old, right? 11 through
Yeah, that's the youngest, and then oldest is 13. So within sixth grade, they range from 11 to 13,
Gotcha.
especially the students that I deal with.
Yo, man, I've always thought about this, man. What is the hardest group to deal with as a teacher? Middle school got to be up there, man,
Middle school is the hardest by far. Middle
because
school is the
they're
hardest.
not dealing with children anymore, right? So they're already a little bit more advanced in their obnoxiousness, and but you're not quite mature enough to get past that middle school stage yet. So
Yeah,
you're right there in the middle with these kids that are ready to become teenagers, the tweens, as you would
yeah,
call them. If they
yeah.
have to wear a mask, how can you see their face expression? Yeah, yeah. Okay, that's what you meant. Yeah, no, who knows, man? They don't give a fuck how you feel. That what they
Right.
want to do is
Yeah,
that you tell them you wear the
keep it
damn mask.
going. No one cares about your feelings. That's what I hear for feeling.
Right.
Man,
But middle school, man, damn, bro, you got
that
the toughest group of
dude,
kids to
it's
deal with.
dude, and I'm gonna be honest with you, man. So I've worked elementary school in Maryland, and I worked obviously at Einstein High School. I'm gonna be honest, high school is so much easier, dude. Working at Einstein was a cakewalk
Why you say
because
that?
it was a cakewalk because high school the kids are a lot more mature. So when you redirect the kid or you tell it, you could talk to a kid a certain way and he won't like, oh, you know what I mean? Kind of thing. You know what I mean? Elementary wasn't my thing because you had to kind of, all right, guys, let's line up in a straight line, okay? Let's walk quietly. I couldn't do that for a long period of time. I couldn't imagine being, an elementary school teacher where I had to like, oh, I love you, come here. I'm not that. That's not my personality. To be like, come here, give me a hug, baby. You know what I mean? I'm not. I don't have that personality. I'm more like tough. My kids will tell you, they think I'm an asshole. You know what I mean? So middle and high school is my preferable like choice. More high school, but I love my middle school kids.
You think you'll ever go back to the high school level and maybe even coach again, or what do you think?
It's funny. Great, Brooks. You asked some great questions. So coaching wise, I was talking to this guy who's a JV coach at North Miami Beach High School. So I'm thinking about potentially contributing there. I would say mostly next year though. I would love to coach in the Miami, but then again, Miami football is so much different than Maryland.
Oh hell yeah!
Especially sports.
It's a religion out there.
Dude, football is life. Like you see kids, man. I'll be driving, bro. You see little kids or group of a lot of you not in every park, right? Because in every hood they got a significant park named after somebody. You'll see a bunch of little kids, ages 4 to like 13, running routes like they're trained for the combine.
Getting ready early out there, man.
Getting ready early. That's why, I tell people all the time, like, man, like when you move down here, you see like football is life. This is their way of getting out the hood. Yeah. It's either getting away from Miami or going to college or playing football. Basketball is not really a big thing out here like it is in the DMV. You're a sports guy, Brooke, so you understand,
Yeah, the basketball culture here, I think basketball culture and like what it is like in Texas or in Florida is probably the equivalent because you got all the infrastructure, right? You got all the coaches that care.
Yeah.
And football around here, like there's certain people that's going to be able to organize stuff, but it's not like how it could be.
Not like Miami. It's rising though. DMV football is like on the uprise, but Miami football, man, it's like if you see Friday night games out here, dude, you think that you're at a University of Maryland game. People, crackhead, the dope boys are betting 20 racks on a game, bro.
Damn.
It's serious down here. Even little league games, it gets serious, packed and crazy. You know what I mean? Parents are betting money on these kids.
They still rocking the Kodak hairdo out there?
Oh, yeah, that's like a big thing. That was one of the first things I noticed when I first moved out here. The whole the Kodak kind of hair, and I'm just like, that couldn't be me. I mean, the gold front, the fronts is a big thing.
Yeah. You rocking with the fronts?
You said what?
You rocking with the gold fronts?
I couldn't rock it, but that's a trend out here.
Yeah.
I stick to me. Even I'm not even like all DMV for real. You know what I mean? But my Florida people laugh at me of how I talk and stuff like that.
It's like a whole nother language, man. People.
Pull up a YouTube video and just pull up just Liberty City or Miami-Dade or and listen to how they talk, and you'll be like, what in the world are they saying?
Liberty City, Florida. Hey, we still got any of Joel's students in here, man? If y'all in here, man, drop a comment, bro. Is he the GOAT teacher or is he an a-hole, man? He say y'all might think he might be an a-hole, man.
Yeah, they think I'm an asshole, man. They think, oh, you're so mean. You're mean. You're never nice. Like when I'm nice to them, it catches them off guard.
But that means you're doing good, though, bro. Because if you're gonna be that, because I've seen nice teachers, man, and this is the last thing I really want to talk about the teacher thing here before we get out of here is if you're the nice teacher, a lot of times it goes back to what we were saying earlier. When
the nice guy.
If you are the too nice person in a situation where you have to be assertive, you're going to get walked on, right? You're not going to get respected as much as you feel you deserve or you entail. you're not going to get the kind of respect you deserve. So that's one thing. You have to be you got to be that way. Like managers at work, they got to be that way. The coach on a football team got to be that way. It's not that they don't like you. It's not that they're bad people. It's that they have to be that way to command your respect. That's just my thoughts on that. But I wanted to say, how do you feel it's easy for you to connect with your students, given that there is an age gap, but it's not like you're not like 50 years old. You know what I mean? You're much younger, and so you're able to kind of have a little bit more of a connection being a younger person with these kids, man. Do you feel like that helps at all, or do you think it's more or less the same?
On both ends, I would say more on what you just stated. Because most of my students, I'm like 17 years older than them. So most of my 17, between 16, 17 years older than these kids. So it's a big difference in terms of like what I came up on in comparison to what they're coming up on. Like when I was in middle school, I didn't have a cell phone. Social media wasn't a major, especially like 04, 05. That wasn't a thing. Maybe when MySpace became a thing, that's when I started getting on. I would say it helps because I'm aware of the trends, especially with the music that these kids like, but they're really deep into it. Like there's stuff that I can't even keep up, man. But my man Jari, that's my little dog, man. He's Honduran kid, man. That's my dog. I mean,
yes, sir, Jari.
Jari, yeah. Jari, he's one of those kids, man. He, special kid. You know what I mean? And that's a kid that one of the very few kids I keep close to. But he listens to old school music. He likes Tupac and Biggie and Ice Cube. I was shocked. Like they were doing independent work and he was playing Good Day from Ice Cube. I'm over here like, I said, what you know about that, youngin? You know what I mean? Like, you know what I mean? And a lot of teachers respect the kid, man. He's a good kid, man. So I'm gonna continue. Although I won't be at that school no more, I'm still gonna, a lot of my students follow me on social media. So they still like reach out and talk to me and stuff like that whenever they need to talk. So
yo, Jari, thanks for joining watching your I guess former teacher now. So moving on to another school.
You're still in here at least.
If you're still in here, man, appreciate you for pulling up. Logan, appreciate you for pulling back up. Christian Rice, as always. Brendoza, as always. King Peace, Langston. Who else? Peanut, man, appreciate you, Peanut, as well, for pulling up, man. And Brooks, you want to ask him anything else before we get out of here, bro?
Shoot, man. Just anything else you gotta say or want us to know about life in Florida, life in Miami, whatever the heck you've been up to?
Man, so I'm actually next week I'll be done with my master's program in educational leadership.
What's up, bro? Congrats.
Excellent.
So I'll be making a post about that on Monday. So it's been a journey. COVID, teaching through COVID, and then a grad school. So for me to really complete this program is unbelievable. Really tough to manage everything. So I'm actually gonna say I'm proud of myself.
Yes, sir.
That's a major accomplishment, man.
It is.
And you started that last year, right?
Yep. August of 2020 is when I started the master's program. So
okay, so pretty quick turnaround for this program.
Yep, it was an accelerated program.
Wow. That means you've been having a lot. That thing's probably coming to you in huge level waves.
4 or 5 assignments a week.
My goodness, man.
So I'm done. That's grinding hard work, baby.
There's two sides of this college conversation that I hear a lot. I had this conversation at a family gathering the other day.
Okay.
A lot of people say having your master's or having your whatever, it doesn't mean as much as it used to. College is a scam, et cetera, et cetera. While I do agree with some of that,
agree with some of that.
I'm still always going to give my hat off to people like yourself, people like Dole Excitement, who tunes into the channel a lot, people that work very, very hard and that had to, lose sleep, that had to put in extra time, extra money to be able to achieve what they set out to do, their goal, which was to get a master's, to get a PhD. You said master's, right?
Mhm.
So to get the master's, that is not an easy feat, whether y'all feel, maybe not y'all, but like whether people out there feel it'll be useful or not. The work and the grind is always going to be, it shouldn't go unnoticed. It shouldn't go overlooked, because those kind of traits can be, if the master's itself is not going to get you a good job, the grind and the effort, you take that into everything else you do. So salute to you, bro. Salute to you, Joe. Congratulations on finishing up the masters, man. Congratulations for staying, all of us, everybody, congratulations
Everybody.
for picking up another day in the life, man. Another day is another blessing, man. Surviving COVID, mentally being, in one piece. I know all of us probably had our little pandemic anxiety. I definitely know I had mine, man.
True.
I wouldn't say I had the anxiety. I actually had it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Damn. And how was that? Was that like a super tough, or was it just like a kind of slight? How was that?
Nah, it was tough. It hit me pretty hard.
You couldn't smell, couldn't taste, and all that.
Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I
Yeah.
put it out there. It was tough, man. It was one of those experiences that really, I didn't really talk about it, but I'll just say it because I'm all about talking about my hardships and stuff. But dude, that was tough, man. And you see things on TV, and when it doesn't happen to you, you don't think that it's real. When it actually happens to you, it's like, whoa. Like it happened gradually, day by day. I just kept feeling like shit. So that's when I got checked up, and then that's when they told me about it. Because it wasn't a regular thing. It was something weird, like you just weren't yourself.
Yeah.
So it was tough, man. It was tough, and I think one thing I tell you, man, you just don't know who you contracted from. You don't know who, so you can't really blame a particular person or area. You just don't know. It's like, it's hard, but it was tough though. So I commend anybody that gets through it, man. Because if I'm just like athlete, macho guy, and it messed me up, I can only imagine the elderly going through it.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like I've said this on the show, and I've said this to people that I'm close to. People aren't going to take it serious until it's somebody that they care about, or until it's themselves. So yeah, we definitely got to still be mindful of that, even now, even with the vaccinations, even with all this time that has passed in between. Still stay safe, everybody. We're going to go ahead and end the stream right there. Logan will be here in the next stream. All right, cool. We'll see you in the next stream. The new HMO mod, man. Congratulations. So again, make sure y'all check out Joel Encilo on social media, Mr. Encilo, the Joel Encilo story. Make sure you check him out. Encilo1992 on Twitter. We'll drop everything in the description once this video becomes public again after the live stream. Joel, man, for the fourth time, thank you for joining us today, bro.
Always, man. Always. This is like Vlad TV.
All right, Brooks. We're out of here, man.
Y'all boys take care, man. Y'all be safe.
Stay safe, man. Thank you for
coming on. I'm gonna just end the stream, and then we'll stay on the call for a couple more minutes. Logan,
right,
love you guys. See you next time. Big love.